Baldwin back in the building. Look at this guy.
Great to be back here.
DollarInvestmentClub.com. You sign up. You pay a bill to yourself. Lee takes care of the rest. You invest in your future. And you were telling us off air, we get ready for Sunday's big game, the Super Bowl. That has an impact on the market?
I don't know if it has an impact on the market, but there is a thing called the Super Bowl indicator, which is who you rooting for, Josh? Who do you like?
Who do I like? Oh, I like that Joe Burrow, so I like Cincinnati.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cody?
It's a toss-up for me. I'm kind of leaning towards the Bengals, but the Rams, that defense is a little much. So we'll see.
Well,
50-50, really.
Here's the thing. As investors, you might want to lean toward the Rams. So there's a thing called the Super Bowl indicator, which basically says that if an old NFL team, a.k.a. the Rams, wins the Super Bowl, the market's higher. If the old AFL team, like the Bengals, wins, market goes down.
Weird.
And it's just a weird thing, but it's been correct like 41 out of 55 years, which is this. It's just... So I don't know what it tells you other than it's kind of weird.
Yeah, what's the reasoning behind it?
And that people follow stuff like that and
They
try
do.
and try to figure it out.
They do.
The only thing, I don't know if there's reasoning behind that, but there is studies. They did a study on soccer, and when a soccer team loses, and usually like a World Cup, it's representing a country or whatever, that country's market is down by 0.5% after a loss. And people study this, and that's more of a psychological thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's hive mind. It's how people are out there spending their money, whether they're in a good mood or a bad mood or whatever it is.
Right. It's just, yeah. And then the market tends to be higher on sunny days. Like they do try to figure out patterns, and all of it really comes down to is that in Wall Street, we can just move money or our numbers around to make it work for us. It's just numbers, right?
Well, did you see the Peloton had to lay off a bunch of people yesterday?
Yeah.
We were talking about that last hour. I think that I can't really think of a bigger company besides Zoom that happened because of the pandemic. I mean, Zoom popped off because of the pandemic, but then everybody was buying Peloton bikes.
For sure. Peloton was one of those, and Zoom. We had like Teladoc, which went because of the home doc visits and Chewy, companies like that. And they have definitely come back to earth. And what might save Peloton here is that I think Nike's interested in maybe purchasing them. Also,
Yeah,
Amazon said that. And
I don't think it's a bad product or necessarily even a bad business model. I think they probably just went way too hard, way too fast, and they thought that would sustain. But I think you're right. I think there's only so many $2,000 bikes you can sell until you got to figure out how to sustain that.
Yeah.
In full disclosure, I have a Peloton.
Nice.
Yeah, $2,300 to hang my clothes on it. Yeah, that's right. But they are nice, and so we'll see how that plays out. But definitely, Wall Street is like that, where you buy the rumor and then you sell the news. So you buy because we're in a pandemic, and it's all kind of happening. But when time goes on, then it's all of a sudden reality. Like, what are you left holding? And that's, so.
It's an interesting time coming back from all this, man.
That's crazy.
And I'm surprised you guys haven't asked me about the Bitcoin, like $4 billion.
Yeah, that one guy, who was he?
It was a couple. And so a young couple trying to launder $4.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. So that just came out, so I'm just trying to figure out what that means.
Listen, I'm going to sound like an old school boomer when I say stuff like this. I don't mess with NFTs and crypto right now. I know that there's people out there getting rich off it, and they'll mock me because I don't pay attention to it. Yeah, but I just don't right now. I like looking at real money.
Babe,
good for you.
There you go.
Babe, this guy doesn't even know. Babe,
let me get my NFTs. I got to show Lee.
Babe, I'm going to show my NFTs.
That's my money guy.
Just part of
good for you, Josh. That's right. That's
I tend to trust my instincts, and when I see drawings of apes being sold for $400,000 to people like Adam Weitzman, I go, something is suspicious about this, and I don't know how it's going to land, but something's going to land hard, and when it does, I don't know what the fallout's going to be,
Like it's like the Meta property next to Snoop Dogg that went for $500,000 on the Meta, like.
What does that mean? Oh, like just to be in the virtual space?
In the virtual space, but living in the same neighborhood as Snoop Dogg.
Right? Yeah. I saw that. And when I clicked, I saw that, clicked the link, and then when it loaded, clicked out of it and went, not gonna matter. I can read this thing 50 times, and it's not gonna matter.
So does it say who bought that property?
I don't
Quote,
know.
unquote?
I don't know. But that's part of the world we live in.
To live virtually next door to Snoop Dogg.
There you go.
Some people have too much money, in my opinion, Leigh Baldwin.
Right?
Go Rams.
If you got $500,000 to drop on virtual space, all right. DollarInvestmentClub.com. You sign up, you pay a bill to yourself. I do it what?
You don't know P-Ape?
Oh, P8 bought it?
Yeah, idiot.
All these companies.
What a old man. he
All
is
these
over
companies,
here.
Leigh Baldwin.
Jeez.
It's always like, Dingle Plastics. They're owned by Fake Ape, and ET and the Finger Prods. What about them? It's like you're reading off 80s synth pop bands to me, but
Right.
these are giant investment firms, and I have no idea what they are.
Well, there's a lot of money out there. So that's a lot of money out there.
Leigh Baldwin, DollarInvestmentClub.com. You sign up, you pay a bill to yourself. I gave a tip after you got off the air, maybe 2 weeks ago. I've been going through my subscriptions,
Right?
finding things that I don't necessarily even ever
Great
use,
tip. Great.
canceling a bunch of stuff, and that has given me a chunk of money to put in Dollar Investment Club. So if you can do the same,
That's
you
a
go.
great tip.
where you go through, and there's apps you can download now. I'm not going to endorse any of them because I've seen them, but I don't know if they're really good or not. There's apps you can download that'll just quickly scan your bank account without taking money out and see what subscriptions you have. It'll tell you what you have. You'll see like 2 or 3 you didn't even know you had.
Right.
And then that's money back in your pocket. Also, here's my financial tip. I bet you're paying for subscriptions right now that you have for free and you don't even know it. Meaning, if you're an AT&T customer, they give you HBO Max. Make sure you're taking advantage of that.
Right.
If you have an iPhone, they give you free Apple TV for like 2 years. If your kids play Fortnite, you probably got a good chunk of Disney Plus for free. So pay attention to these things.
That's pretty cool.
Right.
Like if you're just paying out because you think you have to pay out,
Yeah.
a lot of these are included in a lot of stuff right now.
And the point is, like, you can get apps to look at it, but if you go through yourself
easy.
and it becomes part, like, you will save money in it and then try to invest that, put it aside.
Yeah,
and,
usually I'll just log into my bank account
maybe
and I'll
not buy
start
an
scrolling.
NFT, right?
Yeah, right.
I'll log into my Empower account and I'll go, all right, yes, $40 at Taco Bell, that checks out. What is $4.99 to who? And then I'll look into it. And I'm like,
I
don't
try to
use
do that and be disciplined about it. So.
All right, Leigh Baldwin, we'll talk next week, my
All
man.
right, thanks, guys.
Talk next